friends. Oddball is presented by DraftKings. Stay tuned because you will learn more about DraftKings Pick 6 and all it has to offer throughout the show. DraftKings, the crown is yours.
Oh, yeah.
Amin, it's draft week.
Yes, it is.
It's draft week,
Yes,
which
it is.
we are famously experts about.
Know so much about it.
We know so much.
All the players.
Every stat.
Yep.
Where they're from.
What a team needs. What best fit. Like, look, everyone else is like, oh, I've got like my draft board, whatever. It's nothing like the Oddball draft board.
Yeah, no, the Oddball draft board is just French. Because I hear there's a lot of it.
Well, I mean, it's 2 years in a row now.
Yeah,
right?
I know, right? It's like, what? Anyway, we're going to do something a little different today. We are going to look back at the top 10 most franchise-altering draft picks in NBA history. We have each come with our own list, and we're defining franchise-altering as...
altering the franchise.
Yeah.
Pray I don't alter it any further. That's a Star Wars reference.
The starkest difference before and after that can be attributed to this one player.
Got it. I didn't get that criteria before I made my list, but
you didn't?
But it makes sense.
Franchise alter. What did you think?
I just thought, they altered the franchise. Sometimes they alter the franchise for the worst.
I knew you were going to do that.
I'm just saying.
I did a positive list, and I was like, Amin is going to choose.
I'm not saying what I did. I'm just saying, like, look, All
right. Okay. I'm going to go first. We're going to go reverse order. My number 10 is Nikola Jokic.
Yep.
So my thinking here is, and I'm going to spoil some of the rest of my list.
Don't spoil your list. Do it without spoiling your list.
Okay. I think that for the Nuggets, sure, he's only won one championship with them. They have only won one championship, but he's been MVP 3 times now. And I think that they have a very bright future with him still.
Okay.
Which is where the recency, I want to correct for any recency bias.
Well, Charlotte, I think your pick is just preposterous.
Why? What's
it's
yours?
Stupid. It's poorly thought out, and it's so reactionary. Let's see what my number 10 was.
It's the same.
Okay. So here's why I'm taking Nikola Jokic.
Okay.
Despite the only one championship on the resume, he has indelibly changed the course of this franchise, but he did it in a way with a lot of these other guys, I imagine, it's like lots of expectation coming in. You're a top 5 pick, you're da-da-da. This guy was a second round pick in the 40s.
Crazy.
He was originally the backup to Yusuf Nurkic. Right? Like, then they try to play them together, and then one day they say, look, one of you guys has to sit, and I think we're going to sit Nurk. And Jokic was upset. He was like, how could this happen? This is all my fault. So it's like, I think, rightly or wrongly, the unlikeliness of this story factors into why this is franchise-altering, because nobody expected it, and instead he's turned into something quite remarkable. As you mentioned, 3 MVPs, a Finals MVP, a championship, and still it looks like, a lot more time to go.
Yeah, Western Conference Finals this year.
Yeah.
Okay, cool. Well,
all right.
My number 9, is Dirk Nowitzki.
Oh.
Because I know he only won one championship, but he was there forever. And I think that he, not single-handedly, there were a lot of guys who played with him, but he was the face of that franchise for so long and changed the way people think about the Mavs. So people take the Mavs seriously now.
Yes, they are a championship level organization. I don't mean... I won a ring. We talk about the professionalism and we look at them as like, that's a well-run organization.
And I don't think that happens without Dirk.
For sure not. I mean, like the 90s, there was a joke. What's the difference between the Mavericks and a guy with 5 $20 bills?
What?
The guy with 5 $20 bills can break 100.
Wow.
Because the Mavericks were so bad. Like they literally had one little era in the 80s where they were good.
Yeah.
And that's it. The entire history of the franchise came down to like a 3 or 4 year span in the 80s.
Wow.
And other than that, they were just terrible. Laughing side. And they had great players come through there. Jason Kidd, Jamal Mashburn. But it wasn't until Dirk and Steve Nash kind of turned that thing around. And obviously Steve Nash left, but Dirk kept it going.
Yeah.
I like
Shout out Dirk.
That's a good one.
Okay.
But you know what?
What?
Too safe. You know what I got for number 9?
What?
LeBron James.
Oh.
That's right. That's right. Where's my camera? Right here? Okay. LeBron James. Now here's why. Right? When LeBron came in 2003, definitely altered that franchise, right? Changed everything. They became, they went to the finals. They won 60 plus games 2 years in a row. They became a global brand, right?
Yes.
But all of the real success happened after he left. So he wasn't a franchise-altering pick. He was a franchise-altering free agency decision.
I knew you were going to do this.
Yeah, so I don't count LeBron because that's nice, but there are a lot of players who got drafted by a team and won 60 games, whatever, and then ended up leaving. That list is endless.
Okay.
But the guys who brought the gold home, and that's a limited one. And he didn't bring the gold home as a draft pick.
Okay.
Sorry, LeBron.
All right.
Number 9.
8. My number 8 is John Havlicek. Hear me out. Okay. Bill Russell, not a draft pick.
Sure.
Sam Jones, not a draft pick. John Havlicek was there for 8 championships. Without those championships, sure, it was before the merger.
How many happened before the merger?
Before the merger, I don't care. Without those 8, the Celtics are not talked about the way they are talked about, and they don't have the most banners.
Yeah, I mean, sure, he won 8 championships. How many of them, not only before the merger, all of them, but how many of them riding the coattails of other great players?
All right, 6 for Bill Russell.
Sure, okay.
But still, I couldn't put Bill Russell because he wasn't a draft pick.
This is a technicality I'm going to fight on right here.
Okay.
When a team acquires the draft pick of a player, that's drafting. I'm sorry, man. It's not like, we watched him play and we need to trade for him. Like, he's a draft pick. Does it matter if he got drafted by St. Louis or he got drafted by Boston? Not really. It's the same thing with Rondo. Well, technically, Rondo wasn't. It's not like the Suns drafted Rondo and then the Celtics were like, we need to. The Celtics made a deal for that draft pick. Anything that happens before your first NBA game, maybe anything that happens basically within 48 to 72 hours of the draft. Right?
Okay.
I'm cool with Andrew Wiggins might be the lone example where he played summer league for Cleveland and then gets traded to Minnesota.
Okay.
All right. Here's my number 8. My number 8 is Isiah Thomas.
Okay.
So again, the Detroit Pistons, they had a good run going with Dave Bing and Bob Lanier, but then they were really bad. And so for the entire 80s, Isiah Thomas was the thing that made them relevant, kept them relevant, and kept them in the pursuit of being great.
Yeah.
The moment they surrounded him with talent, he changed his game in order to make that team better. And he did. And him taking that step back, which is kind of like what we talked about with Luka and a lot of these other guys, right? Well, maybe you need to take a step back in order to take a step forward.
Yeah.
That allowed them to become a championship organization. And you look at the run they had from basically 87 through 90 is one of the greatest runs in NBA history. So for me, Isiah Thomas, drafted by the Pistons and changed the course of the Pistons' history.
Okay. That's better than John Havlicek.
Yes.
I'll admit it. Okay.
Every name on this list is better than John Havlicek.
All right, whatever. I had to put, I'm a homer. What's next? 7?
Yep.
Larry Bird.
Oh my God. Is this what this thing's going to be? It's just going to be a bunch of Celtics?
No, this is the only, I just did 2 in a row. Larry Bird, 3 championships in the modern era.
Yes.
Obviously up against Magic Johnson, the Showtime Lakers, that whole rivalry. I don't think that these Celtics are what they are without that legacy and marketing of Larry Bird. I think it was really obviously amazing basketball, amazing championships, amazing player, but it was also the way the Celtics marketed Larry Bird as the franchise.
The white guy. That's the white guy. I'm surprised. I thought he'd be higher on your list. I'm surprised.
No, 3 championships. I think they're guys who you'll see.
I thought he'd be higher on the list. All right. What's my number 7? It's not Larry Bird. I know that much. It's Dwayne Wade.
Good one.
All right. This is another one where it's like the Miami Heat were they were of expansion team that no one really took seriously. And then Pat Riley comes, gets Tim Hardaway, he gets Alonzo Mourning, and he turns them into Nick South, and they're really good. And then Zoe gets sick, and Tim Hardaway gets old, and stuff, and it kind of all falls apart. And it's like, well, okay, Pat, you had your little run. Now what? And they draft this kid out of Marquette who wasn't as heralded as many of the other guys in his draft class.
No.
And he turns into not only the greatest player in franchise history, but also the greatest player in South Florida sports. That's saying a lot. When you talk about the way they worship Dan Marino down there, they say, no. This guy is unequivocally in a football town. This guy's the greatest athlete we've ever had here who represents the area. Obviously, LeBron was there for a couple of years, but really represents the region and the area. So Dwayne Wade for me, and of course you could say the title that he won with Shaq, and he won a Finals MVP in that one.
Yep.
But also, LeBron James and Chris Bosh don't come to Miami if it's not for Dwayne Wade.
Absolutely not.
He's the reason they came, and I think that also plays a part. And then finally, the transition. Jimmy Butler doesn't come to Miami if not Dwayne Wade, a Marquette alum, telling him, hey, you need to come down here. This place is perfect for you.
Wow. Very convincing. All right. 6, I think. Kobe Bryant.
Wow, okay.
Because there was a lot of stuff that happened for the Lakers before Kobe got there. but then to win 5 championships. Why are you laughing?
No, finish your argument.
Why are you laughing? Tell me why you're laughing.
No, you finish your astute argument, and then I'm going to tell you why I'm laughing.
All right. Well, now I don't know what it was. But he won 5 championships. He brought the Lakers into, the 2000 Lakers are not that. Obviously he did 3 with Shaq, but what now? Why were you laughing?
Ladies and gentlemen, where's my camera? Right here. This in front of you right here is a fraud.
Why?
Because you said, I can't have Bill Russell on this list. He wasn't picked by the Celtics.
Oh, no.
And then you include Kobe Bryant, who was not picked by the Lakers. Now,
he wasn't?
No, he's picked by the Hornets and then traded for Vlade Divac. Now, according to my interpretation of how this works, you're fine. But because you have the inconsistency
all it is I did the wrong research. I thought Bill Russell was not, I didn't realize how quickly Bill Russell got to the Celtics.
Yeah.
Can we retroactively put Bill Russell instead of John Havlicek then?
Yes, absolutely.
Can we just cross that out and write Bill Russell and then say Charlotte f***ed up?
Yeah, I'm going to tell you what.
I'm serious. I am serious. That was not some weird Celtics homer white guy shit.
I'm gonna tell you I f***ed up because I forgot Bill Russell completely from my list. So I got to figure out the rest of my list, and then I'll tell you where Bill Russell fits in.
Okay.
All right, so my number 6.
I also would have put Bill higher than John had I thought I could.
Okay. Hakeem Olajuwon's my 6.
Okay.
Again, the Houston Rockets, I know they'd been to the finals in 1981. They had Ralph Sampson, but he really changed the culture of the Rockets. Again, turned them into an organization that people look at as like, these are grown-ups. They know what they're doing here. They're not just, flying wild or whatever. He also was, I think, the greatest international player ever to play the game. When you consider his path, how little organized basketball he had under his belt before he came to the NBA, and for him to be a dominant force so quickly, to go to the finals in 1986, basically 2 years after getting drafted, and then obviously a decade later, 94, 95, back-to-back championships, including the lowest seed in NBA history to win a championship, and the only team in NBA history to beat 4 50-win teams on the road. Basically, they were the lowest seed in every single one of those things. Just a great player, and really was an inspiration for tons of African players who came in afterwards. So Hakeem Olajuwon's my number 6.
Love it. All right, my number 5. LeBron James.
Oh,
I put him higher because I do think that even his getting drafted to the city that he was from as the chosen one, as the hype, and then for him to become the player that he is, sure, retroactively. I just think that Cleveland is not. Nobody thinks about Cleveland without LeBron James. Sorry to Cleveland, but they just apologies. Don't. So I think that even though the success was when he came back, I think even his leaving was so altering.
Yes, you know what? I'm going to allow it. Okay. You're right. Him leaving was franchise altering for them.
If he doesn't leave, Dan Gilbert doesn't write a letter in Comic Sans,
Well, sure.
Which changes the history of the entire NBA.
Sure. All right. My number 5 is Steph Curry.
Okay.
Steph Curry. Now, again, when you were talking about laughing stocks, the Golden State Warriors were not looked at as this is an unserious organization.
You are not serious people.
Now, they had a history, obviously, in Philadelphia, and then first moving to California, where they were great. Rick Barry, this is all in the 70s, right? Okay, the Warriors, this is a great organization. In the 80s, they get to run TMC.
Right.
Shout out to Mitch Richmond, the greatest interview we have ever had that got deleted.
That never aired because we didn't have the audio.
Recorded.
Yeah.
Jesus Christ. But anyways, after that, though, it really falls apart. After Run TMC, obviously Mitch was the first one to go, and then Timmy goes, and then Chris Mullins the last one to leave. But by then, it's in ill repair. Chris Webber comes in, and after that 1 year that they had with Chris Webber, they missed the playoffs for almost 20 years in a row, right?
That's so many years.
That's a lot of years.
That bad
people who were born and lived their entire adult lives and graduated high school had never seen a Warriors playoff game, right? And Steph Curry breaks that, or excuse me, he doesn't break that. We believe Warriors did, but they were kind of like a scrappy bunch.
Yeah.
No one really took it seriously as far as something long lasting. Steph Curry's built the greatest dynasty of the modern era.
Yes.
Right. And 4 championships, 6 finals appearances, right? 6 of them. Yeah. And just changing the way people play basketball, right?
Yeah, the game.
He's altered not only his franchise, but the game itself. Steph Curry. Number 4. Number 5.
Who's my number 4? Oh, Steph Curry.
I just made all your arguments.
It's great. I love it. No, I think the one thing that I would also say Amin, is the way that he has become so beloved by fans. Like, if you ask, I feel like so many, maybe not like the youngest version of fans now, but like teens, people in their 20s are like Steph Curry. Obviously, my favorite player. I think it's very hard. People within the sports world are like, everybody knows athletes. They don't. Like, it's hard to cross over. You say Steph Curry's name, anybody in the country world knows it. So, and the Warriors are nothing without that.
You know, in 2013, I got to dig this up, but I had a tweet that was like, I don't understand why Steph Curry isn't the most popular player in the NBA.
Really?
Yeah, because I was like, he looks like a normal person, like comparatively.
Jalen Brunson.
Yeah, and he plays like I said, you could practice for 100 years. You'll never jump like LeBron. You'll never be big like Dwight Howard. But theoretically, you could be able to shoot like Steph. Of course, no one can. Even that's false, but it's believable enough when you look at it. Like, if I go in my driveway and shoot a million times.
Realistically aspirational, I believe they call that in the marketing biz.
All right, here's my number 4. Tim Duncan. Hey, man, the Spurs. Again, now, it's a little different because the Spurs weren't a laughing stock. They had David Robinson, and they've been good since the 80s because of David Robinson. But they weren't looked at as a team that, like, is a paradigm of, like, how you do this thing.
Yeah.
And now, when we look at the Spurs, like, they are, like, the example. This is how you do it. This is the model franchise. Yeah. And Tim Duncan allowed that to happen with his greatness. Not only his greatness coming in, but his greatness as he got older and being able to age gracefully.
I'm going to stop you right there and go to my number 3. Tim Duncan.
There you go.
Because it was exactly what I was thinking. Like the 5 championships that Tim was there for all of them. Yep. He was the quiet presence. He didn't do it in a flashy way. And I really just loved him as a player and now as a guy who's pretty chill.
All right. Here's my top 3. We're in my top 3. On number 3 is Larry Joe Bird.
Whoa.
Of course.
You put him higher.
He saved the league. Look, everyone needs a white savior, right? Like in America, I'm sorry if this is blowing your mind.
The next great hope, great white hope.
We need, like, white people need someone to, like, oh, thank God. I thought they took it all. And Larry Bird came at a time when the league was very black and was a white guy to talk shit. And, like, he didn't even play like a white guy. He played like a black guy talking shit, whatever. And people loved him for everything that they would have hated him if Larry Bird were black. He was white, so they was like, oh, this is amazing.
Okay. That's a league argument, though.
Also, when you talk about the Celtics, franchise being what it is, like I said, the dusty ass, no one cares about those. They care about the ones that came after the merger, and those ones give them legitimacy. I guarantee you, Jason Tatum don't care about no JoJo White or nothing like that. All right. It's Larry Bird that he cares about.
Okay, all right. My number 2 is Magic Johnson.
Yep.
Because it's the other side of the Larry Bird coin.
Yep.
The Showtime Lakers, that they became what they are. They changed the league in terms of the entertainment product. Doesn't happen without Magic. 5 rings. I don't think people talk about how great Magic was enough. 9
finals appearances in 12 seasons of play.
That's crazy.
That is insane.
That's crazy.
The ultimate winner. And by the way, like I said, everything I said about Larry Bird, you could apply to Magic Johnson. Him and Larry saved the league.
Yes.
And it was the perfect counterpoint of these 2 guys, both Midwestern guys, both 6'9", but played very skilled style of basketball. I think we should just go with the number 1s.
What was your 2?
My 2 is Magic. My 2 is Magic
great.
as well.
1, Michael Jordan.
I don't. You know what? After that Tom Haberstroh article, maybe we need to reconsider.
No. Look. Defensive Player of the Year is one thing, sure. 6 finals.
Okay.
He changed the Bulls are not anything. Like, he changed everything.
Yep.
Regardless of his stats. And the Bulls are still, like 6 rings is still crazy.
Right. All right. Your top 10.
Yeah.
For everyone that wants to know.
Okay. Jokic, Nowitzki, Bill Russell instead of John Havlicek, Larry Bird, Kobe Bryant, LeBron James, Steph Curry, Tim Duncan, Magic Johnson, Michael Jordan.
I don't know why you went reverse order there. You didn't have to, there was no reveal there. All right. Charlotte, this was my list. I had Jordan at 1, Magic at 2, Bird at 3, although Magic and Bird should probably be 2A, 2B.
Yeah.
Tim Duncan, Steph Curry, Hakeem Olajuwon, Dwayne Wade, Isiah Thomas, LeBron James, and Nikola Jokic.
All right.
I kind of feel like we both really messed up.
We really screwed up with the whole Bill Russell thing. We'll address that.
You know what? We should address that.
Okay.
All right. Welcome back to Oddball. Charlotte, we had a list of top 10 franchise-altering draft picks.
We sure did.
And They were great. They were very lovely lists. The best lists around. But you and I both made one serious omission. Mine by just not thinking about it. Yours because you had some weird puritanical rule in your mind that.
Well, no. Here's what happened. Bill Russell was traded on draft night.
Yes, which
from
to me
the
means
St. Louis Hawks to the Celtics, which I actually believe did. Obviously, Kobe did. Was that Dirk too?
Dirk as well. Dirk.
Okay.
Was,
so in my list,
Buck.
my rules were I got
inconsistent.
I thought he was traded a few after whatever. He wasn't.
I didn't even think of Bill Russell.
So I feel like he's 2 or 3.
I
feel like
I would say okay. So where would you put him?
I might put him.
Can we put up Charlotte's list on the screen? Even if it's in the prompter.
I had Magic Johnson at 2.
Yeah.
I agree with Larry Bird should be higher than 7 because I don't know. You make these lists, I think I would put Bill Russell at 2 or 3. But I would bump Magic down maybe. What he did for the Celtics, what he did for the league, he is a larger than life. Yeah. Even his memory, the way it looms over the league in a positive way.
He's the Finals MVP is named after him.
Yeah,
here's the thing. Now, I think there's such a thing as because a lot of people are going to say, well, where was Kareem on your list? Where was Wilt on your list?
Right.
And I would say to them, Kareem and Wilt were not with their franchises long enough. They certainly altered their franchises, but then they left, right? Mm-hmm. Russell doesn't have that problem. He played his entire career as a Celtic.
Coach there,
won the most rings of any player or any person in the history of the NBA. I guess other than Red Auerbach, who technically gets rings for smoking cigars and watching great players do whatever. Yeah. But the point being is Russell, while great and legendary and changed the tenor of everything, I don't think I can put him above, certainly not Michael Jordan and not Magic and not Bird.
Okay.
Because I think those guys, first of all, did it in an era where there was a lot more competition, a lot more talent, like-minded talent, right? Mm-hmm. And talent all over, right? And not only did they do that, but we talk about Magic and Bird, they kind of saved the league. They saved an NBA that was teetering on the precipice of chaos. Yeah. Right? I think for me, Bill Russell has to come after Magic and Bird. That doesn't make him a lesser player.
Right.
And obviously, a lot of the Celtics mystique is built on Russell's success. Mm-hmm. We talk about 18 banners. 11 of them were won by this one guy. Right. But I still can't put him in good conscience above Magic and Bird, certainly not Michael Jordan. Again, this isn't a list of who are the best players.
No, this is how much did they change. So, yeah, I feel you. I also think that I put Larry at 7 to counteract Homer bias.
Okay.
I think, sometimes I'm like...
So you want to rearrange your list a little bit more even?
I mean, I like that you had, I think, 2A and 2B of Magic Johnson and Larry Bird is actually probably the correct order because of what Larry did against Magic, really. Yes. I mean, they were like the opposing forces that gave the tension to the story that the NBA needed.
Absolutely. The story that saved the league, really. Yeah. Charlotte, now that I think about it, I got to put Bill Russell at number 1. And here's why.
Okay.
I just got done saying Magic and Bird saved the league. And that's really, it's franchise altering, but it's also league altering. It's bigger than that.
Right.
Well, Bill Russell not only created the legacy that the Celtics have, when everyone points to 18 banners, most of that is him. It's also, he was a civil rights icon. And so to do all that while being great on the court, I think deserves a lot of credit.
Yeah, okay. I'm putting him at 1 also. So bump off.
Copycat.
I don't know if I should bump off. Yeah, bump off Jokic. Sorry.
Jokic is gone. Sorry, buddy.
Sorry, Nicola. Thanks for watching Oddball. I forgot to tell you guys that I was apparently talking in my sleep during the finals. And I said to Tyler, did you show Tatum his shoes yet? And he was like, what? And I was like, did you show Tatum his shoes yet in the boardroom? And I have no recollection of this. And I woke up and he was like, you were talking about Tatum. And I think I was having a dream where I was like designing Tatum's next Nike shoe.
You are.
That's how broken my brain is.